Okay, so let's talk about offers. Offers and landers are both pages. They're primary assets that you'll use to build your funnels within FunnelFlux. The only key difference between offers and landers is that offers can convert and create revenue, whereas landers are mainly for click-throughs. So whenever you have a page where you expect some action the users take on that page or after that page will make that page converted, such as a checkout page or an offer from an affiliate network, then it would come under offers rather than landers. Okay, so when you create new, you'll be presented with this modal. You can put some offer name here, that's up to you. You can choose a category. These are completely up to you. You don't have to choose one, but you can make them as you see fit. And you can pick an offer source. Now, if you've watched my offer source video, you'll know that these are both for categorization, but also for templating of this configure data passing section here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick generic cake platform, which I can see adds these fields here. Now, with offers and with landers, note that this base offer URL combines with this configure data passing section here to create the resulting offer URL. You don't actually need to use this configure data passing section. It's completely up to you. So for example, I could put URL of google.com and leave it as that. Let's say I wanted it to load some search result, right? I could put query equals my search query here. You can see, I'll just get rid of these, that is the resulting offer URL that appears here as well. I could do it like this, or I could also put the value Q here, and I will use a custom string here, and put my search query, and then get rid of this. What you'll see, is that I get the same end result offer URL here. So it's just A plus B, but B here doesn't necessarily need information. And if I click Cake Platform again, or I switch to replace, then I'll switch back. Here I can see I've gone back to what I had, and now I just have all of these values appended. And I could of course add something else here, let's say query, and I could pass the name of the country that the user is in. So you can use this for templating the way you pass data to the offer, and I highly recommend you do this rather than writing out all of these parameters here. So you could just paste everything here and not use these parameters at all. That's completely up to you. But if you do this, it's harder to see the way that you're passing data because you have to read this long string, which could be cut off, and it's much easier to make errors. If you do it like this, using our data passing section, you can template it based on the offer sources, and you can pick tokens directly from a list here rather than having to type them directly in the URL here. So I highly recommend you use this data passing section well. Now, moving on, we have redirect type. This is how FunnelFlux will redirect people to this offer page if they're going there through an entrance link or an action link. 301 and 307 are the fastest redirect modes. The only real difference is for SEO purposes. I'd recommend using 301 if you don't know what to use. Then Simple and Ultimate Meta Refresh are two slower redirect modes, Ultimate being the slowest, with the goal of blanking or removing the referrer so that the end offer destination, in this case google.com, is not able to see the URL that sent you there in the first place. Here's the offer payout. Let's say we put $50. This payout will only be used if you don't pass a specific payout in the postback URL or in your JavaScript tracking. Right, next we have page action links. These are universal, whether you're on landers or offers. It's just the domain that you're using, /action/ the number. You can pick those numbers here. You can also get these within your funnel builder. So this URL is not specific to this page at all. It's just our generic universal action links. For JavaScript tracking, here, this is specific to the page. So importantly, under view tracking and conversion tracking, you will find a page ID here, this p-value, which is unique to this page. There's no value at the moment because I haven't saved this page, so it doesn't actually have a value. So let me just open one up here. So if I go to JavaScript tracking here, and I look at this view tracking, you can see here P equals this. So when you're setting up JavaScript tracking, or so-called no redirect tracking for your offers and your landers, come and get the code directly from this edit offer or edit lander modal, because that will make sure it has the correct page ID in it. That page ID is not going to change whether you're using this page in funnel A, funnel B, funnel C. So it's important that this page ID is correct to make sure that we track views correctly. Likewise for conversion tracking, there's a page ID here, and you can also inject other parameters. So these are coming from the offer source, just like with the postback URL. So this would be useful if you were placing this JavaScript code in some offer source where they would fill out these values to be something specific. Now, our JavaScript tracking might change a little bit over time as we improve it, but I'll redo the videos if it changes drastically to avoid confusion. Right, also, we have a global header include, so you should include this code on your pages in the head section, and then these separate pieces of code here you would include in the body of the pages, and each page would have a different page ID. Think of this kind of like Facebook or Google Analytics tracking. You typically have one generic include of code, which you can put everywhere as like a global include, and then you'll have specific events that you fire on your pages to say, hey, a page view happened or a purchase happened, or whatever it may be. Lastly, for conversion tracking here, we just have this JavaScript repeated again, and we have the postback URL here that you'll use for server-to-server tracking, and this here has tokens filled out based on the offer source that you picked. So if you don't pick any offer source here, then we won't actually have these tokens filled out here. We don't have any, we still have tokens here at the moment because choosing no offer source hasn't overwritten everything. So if I create a new offer here and I have no source selected, then down here you can see this postback URL will just have capital letters explaining for you to replace these with actual values depending on what's firing the postback. Okay, so that's everything for offers. If you have any questions, let us know.